So now I also need to print lane timer sheets. If I go back to my seating and I go back to reports, I have my lane timer sheets here also. So oops, I clicked on the wrong button. Lane timer sheets. So again, we're going to make lane timer sheets for the Thursday distance, and I want to make them for all 4 events since they're all seated and ready to go, and I want to do this once. Format. We're used to seeing 2 events or lanes per page, and that's usually what we will be using. That allows us to save a little paper by having 2 events or lane per page. And I'm going to show you a little trick as I do this. We're going to do event then lane. So this is what you need to have set up in the format. 2 events or lanes per page, all heats, event then lane. We like the entry time. I like it double spaced, give timers room to write. And we are using touchpads, so we're going to check this as well. The relay names isn't going to really be an issue here because we have no relays. And what I'm going to do, instead of doing all 10 lanes at once, because if I were to do all 10 lanes at once, it would print them all out, and then I'd have to get them in order, get the lanes together, and that kind of stuff. This is a little trick. I'm going to do 2 lanes at a time. So if I do lanes 1 and 2, using this particular setup, and I click the Create Report, we're going to get what you're used to seeing, the lane timer sheets. On top is going to be lane 1, and on bottom lane 2. If I go to the next page, I now have event 2, lane 1, lane 2. Event 3, lane 1, lane 2. Event 4, lane 1, lane 2, and that's it. That's the last one. So now, if I simply cut this in half along the line, the top half will be all lane 1 in the correct order, and the bottom half will be all lane 2. So I've done 2 lanes. If I next do 3 and 4, create the report. On top, I'm going to have event 1, 2, 3, 4 for lane 3, and on the bottom, it's all going to be lane 4. So if I go through and do that, then for 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, I don't have to collate it. I'm going to show you what happens if you just do lanes 1 through 10. Here I have lane 10, lane 1, lane 6 and 2, 7 and 3, 8 and 4. So if I cut, then I'm going to have to collate. And even if I do it by lane and then event, here I'm going to get event 1, event 2, 3, 4. I'm going to have to cut and collate. So the way I showed you initially, doing 2 lanes at a time, just makes it so much easier. You do 2 lanes, you cut it in half, you've got your lane 1 and your lane 2. You do lanes 3 and 4, you cut it in half, and they're already in order. And so that is the trick to making lane timer sheets.